Alright. Gonna continue traveling. Alright, I see it here. Let's make sure I have live chat visible on both, just in case something gets thrown aside, because that happens sometimes. Okay. Okay, good. Good, I think that's good. Hope that's good. Alright. So, in today's stream, I am going to be navigating the desert. Oh look, our other rival is here. Wants to fight? Yes, okay. So I had one rival battle to end the last stream, and I'll have one with Jill here to begin the next. Alright. Jill has a purloin, that's a thing. It's not really a threat to me. But, we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening here. I'm gonna go with a quick attack. I'm just gonna spam quick attack. Oh yeah. It's gonna take 2 of these. That'll be fine. Vigoroth. That could actually be kind of a threat. I think I'm gonna have Vigoroth handled by Vulture, just because Vulture can survive it a little bit easier. And at this level, this is about the level where it will have Uproar. So, just all in all, it's a better decision to be safe. Yeah, I'm gonna pick the bulkier one. And it is gone. Vigoroth was not particularly hard, but I assume whatever is coming next it's manky. I was gonna say whatever is coming next is going to be a little bit more intimidating, expecting, I don't know, an evolved version of the starter, so a Duosion, but no, it's a manky. Next is Duosion. Okay. Yeah, now it's Duosion. Against Duosion, I think because Century doesn't have any bug type attacks. So I'm gonna go with like Willard here. Because I think Willard has Assurance, but Stone Edge will be stronger than Assurance anyways, so I'm just gonna do that. And I missed. Oh, it's setting up light screen. Oh, so scary. Yeah, I had a feeling that Stone Edge would be the right choice here. You don't have a Pig-Knight, you have a Duosion. Hello? Is there like a Healy spot here about? No. Not till the Desert Resort, I don't think. I mean, maybe this house could have something? I just want to heal. Oh, Randomized. Or Randomized. I'm just gonna take that out. Kind of sad, because I was hoping that on the off chance that I lost a Pokemon, I would have the ability to catch something here, but something tells me that's going to not happen in this one. I mean, I still have the Desert Resort. Ah, yes, good. But like, I still have the Desert Resort and the ruins at the Desert Resort, so I guess I'm safe. Couple fishermen. Veronica. It's a good name. Veronica has a level 16 Scrafty. Okay. Impressive, I guess. Let's see how well it can take a hit. I mean, it is a Scrafty, but it's only level 16, I was gonna say. Like, I shouldn't be having too much trouble taking this out. Get hurt by the sandstorm. I pack again. Scrafty goes bye-bye. The Arctic, Beartic. Bear, I don't know, Billard. That's a Billard. And that was like, which of my rock types? And then I'm like, oh yeah, the one that's not gonna take neutral damage to ice attacks, maybe. That might be the safer of the two. Ha, I'm already slow. You have done nothing to me. Yeah, I guess I'll talk a little bit about my thoughts so far on Nintendo's E3. You know, more stuff has happened since my last stream, of course. I've been watching the Treehouse Live segments. And so far there's been one thing that disappointed me. And, like, I understand why, but I don't like it regardless. And that is the fact that in Pokemon Sword and Shield, and this is a thing, and supposedly there's a mistranslation of some sort here, but from what I've seen, the mistranslation doesn't change what is happening with Sword and Shield, which is that while you can transfer Pokemon to Pokemon Home from any of the games that they listed, the only Pokemon able to enter Sword and Shield are Pokemon in the Galar Dex, which means that in Sword and Shield, at least at launch, there will be 0 Pokemon who are not in the Galar Pokedex, which means there's no National Dex, there's no... If Rattata's not in the Dex, there's no Rattata in the game. Which, that's kind of a bummer to me, because in all honesty, I was quite excited to be able to experience, you know, my usual Pokemon experience. And I'm not a huge transfer of Pokemon, but like I'll trade with people and stuff sometimes to get things. But like, the main disappointment comes from the fact that I really like training new teams. It's my favorite thing about a Pokemon game. Every time a new one comes out, I get excited because it means I get to train new teams. And I'm not a transfer. I don't transfer a lot of Pokemon. So like Pokemon Bank, didn't use it. I used it at the start of Gen 6. Decided to pay for it once and then didn't touch it. I don't use it. It's not my thing. I don't need to, like, I don't put Pokemon in it because I don't transfer, or I don't do anything with it other than transfer Pokemon. And so if I'm just going to be transferring Pokemon, there's not a huge use for me, and I don't regularly use it. So with Pokemon Sword and Shield, it's kind of sad to see those limitations put in place. And I should also say now, the reason for the limitations is development time, because as we all know, there's a lot of side things in Pokemon. There's the show, there's the cards, there's merchandise, there's all sorts of things that are not the games. And those things are where where a lot of money is made for the company, and those things are also a lot harder to delay because they want to have a regular release schedule with cards, they want to have a regular release schedule with merchandise, and the show, when it usually comes late, they want to have a regular release schedule with that as well. So it makes sense. I'm not sitting here upset that they're doing it for no reason. It makes sense for them to not delay the game, even though I would like them to, and I would appreciate it if they did. But it's just that, like, and I'll say this: there's another thing a lot of people have been saying is that everyone who doesn't like this change is someone who uses the same team every time. And I'm 100% not that person. My team going through the Pokemon game, like a new Pokemon game, is the first 6 Pokemon I catch. That's it. And sometimes I might save for a Pokemon one empty slot on my party, which is what I did with Pancham in Gen 6. So, like, I'm not the type of person who's going to be like, oh, well, I always play through the game with my same Charizard I've had since Pokemon Fire Red. Like, no, I'm not that type of player. But what I am is the type of player who, you know, goes, you know, what's weird? Like, I'm the kind of player who I don't get super attached. I like to learn and grow with new Pokemon, but I don't really keep them around for forever. Like, you know, I get a new game and that's it. I'm done playing with the old Pokemon I had from before. I had a feeling there'd be something here. And so, yeah, like, the loss of a lot of Pokemon, because, realistically speaking, we're not going to be getting the majority of Pokemon, and even if we are getting the majority, there's 800 some. The majority could literally be 430 returning Pokemon. And while it's a lot of returns, that's still 300 plus missing Pokemon. And that's just not something I'm really excited about. That said, I'm still excited for Sword and Shield. They look like they're going to be really fun games. It's sad for me that there's going to be a lot of Pokemon I don't get to train. Because when I make a team that I train, I tend to, I don't just grab random Pokemon. I don't plan super specifically, but a lot of the time I add a Pokemon that I think would be fun. And then I try to not have too many of the same type. And if I'm trying to do that, you can run out of certain types quickly. So if there's certain types that are just not in the Galar decks as much, that's just going to really hurt the experience. And supposedly it was a mistranslation that it was just Sword and Shield, and that what Masuda actually said, or something that he followed up with, was that it's a policy change for the company, and that every game in the future is going to be doing this, where they're going to be picking a more curated list of Pokemon that makes sense for that game. But my issue with that is that it's going to limit every Pokemon game, not just in that respect, but it's going to make it so that you cannot play Pokemon Sword and Shield and whatever comes next if you have something that's not in Sword and Shield on your team. Like, they've had limitations before like that, where, like, you can't use a Giratina Origin form when playing against someone with Diamond and Pearl, or you can't use one of the new Ultra Beasts like Naganadel against someone playing normal Sun and Moon. Or the fused Curums in Black and White 2. But the thing is, this is not just 1, 2, 3 Pokemon, mostly legendaries. This is not a majority, but this is a massive number. Like, this is hundreds of Pokemon that might be available in one game that you cannot communicate with the other game if you have on your team. And if that's also true going the other way, say Galar has a lot of Pokemon that don't end up showing up in, like, I don't know, Diamond and Pearl remakes, then you literally cannot, if you have those Galar Pokemon on your team, fight someone playing a Diamond and Pearl remake, and vice versa. And that's a huge thing I'm worried about, is limitations on who you can battle and stuff like that. And the thing is, it's not too hard to add the Pokemon to the game, unless there's more specific things they were looking to do with them. But it seems like it's a relatively easy job. And as a programmer, I also know the easiest jobs are usually the hardest, or the easiest sounding jobs are always the hardest. You know, it's the same way with proofs, really, and that's why proofs are so important in programming. It's the easiest proofs are usually the hardest. The easiest programs are usually the hardest. So if you look at it in that perspective, it's honestly it's probably true that I'm kind of underestimating the workload that it would be to, you know, add the last Pokemon. But the thing is, like, they have the models, they have the textures, they have the cries, they have the move pulls, they have the stats, like, all of that's there. And, like, usually there's going to be a few changes here and there to stats and stuff. That happens, but they have so much that's already there that it makes it harder for me to see them justify not putting it there. And, like, honestly, if we hadn't gotten the wild area, if the wild area was removed from the game, but we got access to every Pokemon, I would be fine. I would not be upset. The wild area is a small bonus to me. It's not something important to me. But yeah, there's I could go on and on about the Pokemon Sword and Shield things from E3. You know, once again, that doesn't mean I'm not excited, but there's certainly some things I'm less happy about. One of the other ones I'm going to mention now is I don't know if this was a mistranslation. I could easily see this being a mistranslation or something that's easily just misinterpreted. But they said that Dynamax is the replacement for Mega Evolution and Z-moves. And it makes sense for Z-moves, because Z-moves are 100%, they are an Alolan thing. They cannot leave Alola. If you make them leave Alola, it doesn't make sense. But at the same time, it just feels oh wait, no, I have 1 HP left. But there's a sandstorm. No, that might be the death of Dudley. I was stupid. I was like, oh, I'll be safe here. Alright, oh, dang. Do I have any revives or anything? Also, the thing is, I have to run all the way back to a PC, and the nearest PC is the one in, the city. Ooh. So far away. Again, they have more PCs everywhere. So the construction area. Do I have anything? Gotta sort this. But yeah, so I could see the term replacement for the mechanic being, ooh, yeah, that's a death. That's a death. Alright, I'll go. Go run Dudley to the PC and back. But yeah, like, I could see that being a mistranslation or a misinterpretation of what was being said, because you could be saying, like, oh, well, this is the new big mechanic of the game. Like, this is the mechanic that is equivalent to, and is the new one kind of replacing the other new ones of old. That I could see being an easy justification for that statement, but if it does mean that there's no Mega Evolution, that's going to also make me kind of sad, because there's a lot of Megas that I really liked. And a lot of people loved Mega Evolution and stuff. And, you know, like, say what you will about Dynamax, it's not as interesting as Mega Evolution is a lot of the time. So, I don't know. I'm curious to see what ends up happening. Dudley is dead. I'm going to take that item. Of course, Dudley has to be sprite number 2 on my list, so I gotta replace a lot here. Alright, no. Then I'm going to put the X there. I need to do this the right way. Mandibuzz, you go there. Cranidos, you go there. Yes, Scolipede. And Tortuga. And nobody. So that's a death. But yeah, like Mega Evolution and Dynamax I don't really see as equivalent. I think that they could coexist. Even if, you know, Mega Evolution is just a really minor feature. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It kind of makes me a little sad because, you know, once again, I like a lot of Mega Evolutions. You know, that said, if they just made it so that, like, oh, if you have a Mega Stone on your Pokemon and you Dynamax, the Dynamax is the Mega, and that lasts 3 turns, I would be okay with that. Like, that's fine. I just don't want to see the designs of the Mega Evolutions disappear. That's really where my concern there comes from. But beyond all that, I think Nintendo's E3 presentation was really good. I think that there's a lot of really cool stuff. I think I'm getting more and more excited for Luigi's Mansion 3. I feel like my reaction was probably not the most interesting to that. I forgot to switch Pokemon. But despite my less than stellar reaction, I'd imagine, I am honestly quite excited for it. I think that Scarescraper looks amazing in it. Scarescraper was really fun. Granted, I've only played Scarescraper with, like, my nephew, or not my nephew, my cousin, who was like 7 at the time. You know, he's really little. So, you know, admittedly, I haven't played with, you know, a group of friends or something like that. I've just played with a small child. But what I played of it was enjoyable. It was a good time. We had a lot of fun. And that was just through DS Download Play. So, actually, no, that wasn't DS Download Play. That was actually, because, yeah, he also had it. Okay, like, it's just a really fun game. And so seeing Scarescraper return, but with up to 4 players who can now double into 8 through the use of Guigis. I don't know if that means that we actually can have 8-player multiplayer, or if the Guigis have to be player controlled. But overall, I think it's just really cool to see it return. Slamming ghosts looks really fun. I like that mechanic. It looks like stupid fun, and I enjoy that. I enjoy stupid fun in my games. But, I feel like this place has to exist because there's a hidden item here. I'm gonna put the dowsing machine on my thing here. Ah, there was a thing here. Oh. Never melt ice. Ooh. Okay. Alright, what else do we have? I got I got heal powder. I think that's just a normal healing item, like a health. Okay. Status condition cure. I'll take it. Not particularly excited for that, but it's nice. It's nice to have. But yeah, I think one thing I am excited about that we were able to see during the presentation on Sword and Shield is that the wild area is divided into multiple kind of sub areas, and weather changes in all of the sub areas, not globally across all of the wild area, but so there's a daily change in each sub area. So if you go to like one of the lakes, it might be snowing, but if you go to another, it might be raining. And I like that. Those more localized weather phenomenon lead to a lot more dynamic a set of Pokemon that can be spawning in the wild area in one day. Definitely a huge bonus. We also got to see a couple new Pokemon. We got to see Yamper, which had been leaked, further crediting the leak that, you know, I've referred to but never explicitly talked about. Let's see, with this. It says that, I don't know. It says my stream health is not doing great, but this here says my stream health is doing great, and what I'm seeing on here is a sign that my stream health is doing great. But, alright. Okay, YouTube. Sure. But yeah, we got to see Yamper, and we also got to see a new one that's a fairy dark type called Impidimp. And I really like Impidimp. It's really cute. Yamper and Impidimp are both cute, interesting Pokemon. I think it was funny, apparently every Pokemon in the Sword and Shield demos, at least they played on stream, was given an Everstone. And then all the Pokemon in the demos people played were set to level 50. So I thought that was really funny, though, how everything, they just put an Everstone on it, because I'm like, some of these are pretty close to evolving in level. Everstone it so that it can. That's a clever idea. But yeah, I was talking about Luigi's Mansion 3. They added Portrait Ghosts back because people weren't happy without them in the previous game. It's nice to see Nintendo listening. Super Mario Maker 2 is going to have online co-op with friends, which is so much better, now that they've confirmed that, and that that's something that they've planned the whole time, but it was something that they just weren't going to be able to have in by the release date. So that is amazing to hear. It's great news. We got, you know, 2 announcements for Smash. We got Hero, and a lot of people are upset that the Hero characters are all unnamed in Super Smash Bros. To just honor the banner of the Hero. But the main character you play as, everyone's saying that his name exists, but his name is 11. Actually, another character's name is 8. Because they don't all have names, it turns out. And as a result, and because they're often referred to in the game as the Hero or some other, you know, honorific title, like the Luminary, and stuff like that, it kind of justifies all of the characters just being lumped into the Hero, you know? But the Hero looks interesting. It looks like it's not my playstyle at all. It looks like a very technical and weird character, which, aside from, like, Inkling, is not really my thing, because Inkling is technical and weird, but hitting in the first place leads to that technical side happening. So, like, I'm not crazy about the like the hero and all that, because like I mean, and that's clear. If you've watched my reaction, the hero did not excite me at all. I was just like, okay, I guess that's neat. Like, I was not hype. And I was also kind of disappointed because all of the stuff about Banjo, and I'm like, this is all pointless then. Where's Banjo? But then I was like, okay, maybe they're going to announce a game. But then they did the Banjo announcement, and I was really hyped for that. And a lot of people are down on the Dragon Quest one. But Dragon Quest wasn't picked because it's big here. It was picked because it's big in Japan. And other regions of the world. It doesn't have to be big in the US to be a Smash character. Like, we have Earthbound characters. We have Lucas in the game. And you're sitting here going, well, I don't care about these characters. They're not from a game that's popular here. It's like, well, they're not only picking a roster for you, you know? And that's the most important thing to remember. You don't have to be hype about every character that gets announced in Smash. You don't have to be. You can be, but that's not a requirement. It doesn't make you less of a fan to not be excited about certain characters. It just makes you a person. Like, I wasn't super hyped about Joker. It was just really cool because, you know, Persona is a game that I don't really associate with Nintendo much. And so that was cool. And the stylistic trailer was really cool. And Star loves Persona, so I was not just excited for it because of me. I was mostly excited for other people. I was mostly excited because of how it was presented. So, like, when it comes to, you know, Joker from Persona, like, when he came out, I was excited to try him. I tried him a bit. Didn't really care for him, and that was it. I was like, okay, cool, that's nice. I liked Piranha Plant a heck of a lot more than I liked Joker at launch. And I still am not a huge Joker player, but like my friends who like Persona love him, and I don't think that's a problem. I'm not upset that Joker stole a spot from a character I could care about. That's what happens. And that's not a bad thing. That just is. Oh, I can finally get an actual dark type attack. I don't really need Lear on Vulture. Like, it can come in handy sometimes, but I'd rather have more stab. One thing that I've kind of been not disappointed in, but I guess kind of disappointed is that during the Treehouse Live this year, they haven't had a heavy focus on a lot of their bigger IP that's coming out. They've been having a very broad swath, but like Daemon X Machina has had 2 segments already. Mario Maker's had a lot, and like I understand Mario Maker, but like there's been 1 segment on Pokemon Sword and Shield. There's been 1 segment on Link's Awakening. There's been 2 now on Luigi's Mansion. But like I'm hoping, and granted I'm missing out on some of it right now to stream this, but like I'm really hoping that we get to see more Sword and Shield. I'm also curious about when they're going to do an actual trailer and like artwork dump of the new Pokemon that are in the demo, because like we've seen them now, and typically that means that we get a trailer. Like last time at E3, new Pokemon were revealed on Treehouse Live, and then those new Pokemon were, I think, later that day in a trailer, so that we could see them at, in person and stuff like that. And I guess because they haven't been in Treehouse Live, and maybe they're going to show us a segment of them playing basically the demo everyone else gets to play, or even a save file at that point in the game. But it's just, I don't know, I kind of want to get good art of Impidimp, and I want to get good art of I want good art of Impidimp and Yamper, so that I can actually do sprites of them. Because right now I just have really crappy screenshots, and I like to sprite with a base concept art piece. I call it a CAS, and CAS-based spriting, concept art sprite. And that's just, I took the concept art and I scaled it down, and then I traced over that to make art that's better, because I'm not a good artist. I just have good ideas of, I guess I'm going to be a better pixel artist, but I'm not good at drawing things as much as I am at kind of realizing them. I'm decent at lighting a Pokemon once I have the base body. It's actually something you can see if you look at the difference between my sprites and other people's sprites of Pokemon from Sword and Shield trailers. My sprites don't have the shading that they show on the concept art. They have shading like they're in a game. And sometimes that aligns with the concept art, and sometimes it doesn't, because concept art, it isn't made to be the same thing every time. It isn't made to be sterile or anything like that. It's made to be unique and special every time. You want each Pokemon to really pop in its concept art, and sometimes it doesn't happen, and sometimes it does. But well, not even in its concept art, but in its actual official art. So yeah, I don't think it's as good of a sprite if you're basing it on something that has inconsistent lighting with what you're spriting to, and you just copy the lighting that's there. It's like, if the light doesn't match a Gen 3 sprite, why are you making a 64 by 64 not all the way up at 64, sprite, or an 80 by 80 sprite that's clearly Diamond and Pearl inspired? Why are you doing that and not shading it as such? Because one of the most important things people don't understand in sprites is that if you want them to be usable outside of as a piece of art, and pixel art is typically like that. You don't see a lot of people making pixel art to hang up in a museum. Pixel art has a use. Pixel art has purpose beyond making someone think or giving someone a feeling. Pixel art is a tool. And if you're just using it because you think it's pretty, that's fine. But if you're just gonna scale down someone's artwork, that's not the same. I could make an algorithm that could do that, probably, where it, adds a stroke of a darker version of one of the colors that's on the body to each section that's that color, and it does stuff. And it wouldn't look perfect, but I could make an algorithm that would make pixel art from full res artwork. I could do that. That said, I don't have to. It's not fun, and it doesn't look good, so why do that yourself? If you're gonna make pixel art, make it feel nice. I'm not gonna knock people who are learning and stuff for doing that. I definitely did stuff like that when I was learning. But I think one of the most important things is, if you want to get used to spriting light and shadow, well, if you want to get used to spriting light and shade is what I was trying to say, actually do it yourself, Think up where your light source is, light a section, shade a section. You know, and you don't have to remain consistent with your light source if you're not trying to make something like that. If you're just trying to get used to it, experiment, do what you want. One of the other things is that people often will modify a sprite to match sort of a canon imagery, but if you're making a Gen 3 sprite, at the very least, those get flipped a lot in game. I don't know if you noticed that, but in Gen 3, if you open a Pokemon up in your team, it's facing the opposite direction. So if something was asymmetrical, that asymmetry was carried over. And so you really, you can then decide, what do I want to have be the sort of, well, what is the your team version, what is the their team version? And which one is the one I would prefer to look the most on brand. Like, if you look at these are facing the way they would be if I was fighting them. But in Gen 3, they'd be facing, like, they'd be mirrored. So, like, that's why, for me, I'm not worried about having to adjust the head angling of, Sword Pupper, because Sword Pupper can easily enough just be mirrored. It's Gen 3, no one's going to care. And the majority of the time you would see a legendary is in your party, or something like that, or in the box, where it's going to be facing in a mirrored direction. So I would rather have it look in your party in the canon way. But that's just me. Then again, I didn't do that with Scorbunny. But, I have limitations. Everyone has limitations. But yeah, more on E3 stuff, and not just me rambling about spriting. I just want official art, please. So give me like a trailer, give me a press release about Impidimp and Yamper. You don't have to give me more than that, I just want Impidimp and Yamper. One thing I'm really excited to see more about is the Breath of the Wild sequel. Of course, we only got the trailer we got, and that's going to be it. I don't expect us to see anything new during this E3 at all. I think that's all we're getting is that one trailer, and that's going to be everything from this game. But I'm really excited to learn more about it. I think that was one of the highlights of Nintendo's presentation for me. I think it's really cool. It looks like, Ganondorf is coming back to life, which is interesting because Ganon's been defeated. Ganon is gone. So that evil part of him is supposed to be gone. So unless the malice that was left behind is still a piece of him, then, that's just a really interesting thing. And granted, if it's not something special and it's really just, he's being revived or whatever, that's cool too. And he, but I'm kind of like, where's the evil coming from, Oh, here's the desert resort. I'm actually gonna fight the guy. I can't get to him easily. Well, maybe I can. Dang it. Alright, well, let's try and catch something then. Oh! See, look at that. I didn't have to pick Solosis as my starter to be able to catch a Solosis. Boom. So, I'm gonna try and catch this Solosis. Shouldn't kill the clock, right? Okay, good. That was not a dangerous hit. Solosis, you want to be in a Premier Ball? It's pretty fancy. I think that would look really pretty with the Solosis on it. No. How about a normal Pokeball? Okay, Solosis was a pretty down-to-earth Pokemon here. So, if anyone's got a name for Solosis, throw it at me. In the meantime, I will get the actual sprite. Solosis. They drive away attackers by unleashing psychic power. They can use telepathy to talk with others. Is that other Solosis or others in general, like people? I don't know. That's a thing. But yeah, I think I'm really excited. I don't know if I'm gonna end up doing a Breath of the Wild sequel stream series. It really depends on I guess it really just depends on whether or not the Breath of the Wild sequel is out while I'm doing a Pokemon stream series. Or if there's a new Pokemon coming up shortly after that, you know? Like, I don't want to, I don't want to stream the game if I'm going to be doing Sword and Shield at the time still. Or if there's, I don't know, Diamond and Pearl remakes coming up, or Sword and Shield 2, I don't know. Like, I just don't want to overload it a bit, you know? Okay. Sorry, I'm just scaling up the Solosis. Beep, boop. And now I can go over here, go over here, beep, boop. He's so sorry, she's so static. I never really realized Celeste said genders. Okay, I think I'm gonna name that. Okay, Google. Sisyphus. Yes, okay. Cool. I did it. I did a good job with the name. I spelled it right. Sisyphia. So Siphia's on the team now. That's nice. And Azoth is in this area. I don't know if that can hurt me a lot right at this level. So to be safe, I'm gonna heal before this turn. Okay, so it has rest. That's not a concern. So maybe Fan Attack will just take it out, and I don't have any reason to be worried. Yeah, that's exactly how it was. I had no reason to be worried. Okay, cool. I'm actually going to switch my party around because Sisyphia is level 19. Willard and Billard aren't always next to each other anymore. That's sad. That's actually sad. That... I mean, they kind of are now, but like normally they'll be diagonal from each other now. That's sad. Alright, I have to fight this doctor first before I can heal here. So, trainer first, doctor second. Get Sisyphia out to safety. But Vulture will come in and get the kill. I just want to be able to heal, dude. That's easy enough. Fall back so that I can explore this area a bit more and actually battle the trainers that I saw. I assume these two are trainers. No, never mind. They actually aren't. Oh, okay. There might be an item down below still. Oh, cool. I could have got Steelix on this route. That's actually really cool. I don't like that. But we're still on even footing. I just kind of want to see if I can figure out what hidden power I have. Well, it's not very effective against a steel ground type. That's something, I guess. That doesn't really tell me much, though. I assume they're... yeah, it's rage. Bad. And goodbye. Okay, I guess that was really just a spot to run around. Okay. Kind of thought there'd be something hidden there. I don't know, I feel like Daemon X Machina's had its frame rate improved, but that overall is just one of the things I had an issue with. I think my bigger issue is still one that's not fixed, and that's just the design of the game, which is you barely do anything when you're in combat. Like, it takes so long to kill anything, and it makes the combat look really slow and repetitive. Granted, I haven't experienced it fully, so I can't speak to its strength or its weakness, but it certainly is not putting on a good show for itself in that regard. Like, I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong, and I hope it actually is a really fun, fast-paced game, but it looks kind of slow and tedious right now. It looks beautiful. Like, the game's beautiful. I'm not gonna deny that, but like, part of the reason I really liked Xenoblade Chronicles X when I saw the first footage of that was that it looked pretty lively. You know, it's a bit faster paced unless you're in a really major fight. But it seems like everything we've seen from Daemon X Machina is a major fight, so it feels like every fight's just major. So I guess that's a thing. Oh, lowered special attack for speed. That is like the worst. Sisyphia is correctly named. Ew. Alright, Gonna switch back into Vulture's the lead again. The Psychic is guarding a thing. Yeah, I think... I don't know, overall Sword and Shield looks like it's going to be pretty good. Breath of the Wild sequel looks really good. Luigi's Mansion looks really good. Link's Awakening looks really good. Like, a lot of what Nintendo's shown looks really good. So I'm excited for the most part from this E3 presentation and from the Treehouse Live footage I've seen. But I don't know. I'm curious to see what they end up doing with a lot of these things, and whether they're going to be the types of games I'm going to end up picking up. You know, like of course I'm getting Sword and Shield. Like that's a no-brainer. I'd love to get Luigi's Mansion 3. That said, it might take me longer than I want it to. It took me forever to get Dark Moon, and I was like, I saw the first footage, and I'm like, I don't look that good, like frame rate wise, but I'm gonna get it anyways. Cut to a long time later, I get it. Hello, Frillish. There we go. You are dead. Berry. That's wonderful. I wish I could get like a revive or a rare candy or something. Something I can use to keep my Pokemon alive. Bridge Mail 5! Oh, heck yeah, that's my favorite. So much better than Bridge Mail 4. There's an item over here. Okay, Starpiece can sell that at least. Charty Berry. I mean, I'm getting exactly what I expected from randomizing these items. Mostly berries. So I got like what? About 3 to 5 minutes left. Okay, that's gonna be real easy. I don't know what to say about that other than that. It's a slack off. There's nothing to really fear there. Oh no, it has slack off. That's a problem. Alright, well I got it this turn at least. Slack off was a slightly larger threat than expected. Oh, another ranger. This is her partner ranger, and so typically he would have kind of the opposite. No, this is not the partner ranger to her. It's partner ranger to someone else. Yeah, one of the things that's kind of predictable about Black and White's roots is that almost every trainer has a kind of a partner of sorts. Like there's a almost identical version of them somewhere else that's not them. It's usually like the female version. Which is a nice way to flesh out the roots more, I guess, but still is not the most interesting of design features in Pokemon games. Wow, that annihilated him. Okay, Vulture leveled up. No, it survived. How dare you, Tepig. Alright, Tepig's gone. I'm gonna end up saving and ending the stream after I heal my Pokemon back up, but I want to try and explore this section of the desert at least. sure I don't miss anything here. Got Ice Beam. Forgot that was in the desert. Not really all this back here? Alright. Okay. I was able to run straight back. Alright, I'm pretty impressed. That said, I don't want to keep this one going too much longer. It is now an hour, and I also want to get caught back up on Treehouse Live. I just wanted to make sure that I stuck to my schedule for now, because I think it's this Sunday is the 16th, right? Yeah. And I won't be streaming then because it's Father's Day, and I want to try and be able to do something with my own father, you know. And I want everyone else out there who can to spend some time with their father as well. Well, if they can, and if they want to. I should specify that not everyone wants to. That's valid sometimes. But yeah, so we lost Dudley. We gained Sisyphia. She does not seem like an adequate replacement, but who knows? Maybe she'll be a good part of this team. So yeah, I'm gonna get back to watching the Treehouse Live. So thank you so much if you joined me live or after the fact. Either way is cool with me, as long as you had some fun, as well as go do human things as humans do, like watching the Treehouse Live that I've skipped an hour of now. All right, goodbye everyone. I'll see ya.